Thursday marks the 75th anniversary of D-Day, commemorating the invasion that broke the Nazis' hold on France and set the stage for Europe's liberation. Tonight, Luis Cruz of the LA Times introduces us to a 93-year-old World War II veteran who's working on a documentary to make sure the horrors of war are not forgotten.
I was scared to death.
World War II veteran George Champa vividly recalls the day he arrived in Normandy, France on D-Day, June 6, 1944.
I was so afraid to drown, and I thought, afraid to get killed because my little Italian mother, she would have died. And so, of course, that was on my mind. I can't die, I can't drown, I don't want to drown.
Over the next 11 months, Champa and his companions from the 607th Graves Registration Company were responsible for burying the bodies of German and American soldiers.
Eventually, we buried the bodies in mattress covers, and so it was a very, very tough job for me.
The unit eventually gathered about 75,000 corpses and placed them in 17 temporary cemeteries in 3 countries.
I had to look at these guys, and 18, 19-year-old guys. The only way I could do it is like a robot, because when you look at their face, you want to turn your head away. You're looking at bodies in all conditions unimaginable.
Champa chose not to talk about the war when he came back home to the U.S. He wanted to forget it all. For half a century, he kept what he witnessed to himself. It wasn't until Champa returned to France for the first time since the war that he was ready to talk about his experience. Then, in 2006, Champa returned to Belgium with 4 Torrance High School teachers and 2 1st Division veterans to film his first documentary. There, the teachers learned firsthand about the experiences of World War II.
We're going to call this film "The Lesson is Priceless," because these teachers are going to learn a hell of a lot. And they're going to come back and tell their kids a hell of a lot.
This is the first time I had an opportunity to come to the gravesite. And I can tell you, it's a very, very emotional feeling. Bob was an outstanding soldier.
Through each of his documentaries, Champa takes viewers through once war-torn countries of Europe as they learn their history through the eyes of veterans and people who lived during that time.
Let the vets tell their story, and let the citizens there tell their stories, and let the teachers hear the stories, take it back to the classroom.
Now, at 93 years old, Champa is working on his 6th documentary, the 75th anniversary of the D-Day invasion of Normandy, France.
The kids are going to see the film. They're going to see their teachers talking to people who are crying, who've lost members of their families, who were deprived of their own freedom for those years.
Of the 16 million Americans who served during World War II, less than 500,000 are alive today. Champa wants to share as many of their stories in hopes of teaching the younger generations about what he says is the high cost of freedom.
As I told my wife, if I drop dead doing this, so be it. I'm doing what I want to do, what I think I must do.
George Champa has a GoFundMe account to raise money for his documentary. If you'd like to learn more about the project or help, you can log on to letfreedomringforall.org.